So we'll start with the trends in college admissions. One trend is that students apply to a greater number of colleges, and that trend has been consistent for a while. It's partially because one of the applications, which is the Common App, allows a student to complete an admissions application once and then send it to multiple colleges. So it really can be easy to apply to many colleges. And also, students know that college admissions can be competitive, and many schools are selective because of the number of students they can admit and the quality of applications they receive. And so, one tip is to apply to multiple schools, multiple colleges that you love, so that you have your options open for good choices and options in the spring of your senior year. Now, another trend is something called demonstrated interest being a factor in admissions. And that really comes about because students are applying to numerous schools. Because in a long time ago, when students applied to just a few colleges, a college could be 100% or pretty certain that if the college received an application from a student, that the student really wanted to go there. But since students are applying to many colleges now, colleges can't be certain that every applicant really hopes to attend that institution. And so they look for clues in the application of a student's interest. Now, not all colleges do this, but some do. And some of the things that could qualify as demonstrated interest might be that you visited the college, but you don't have to do that either. Maybe it's that you contacted the college or you watched an admissions webinar online, or you contacted the admissions office to ask about campus tours, or connect with an admissions representative for some questions. So all of those things can demonstrate interest in the college. And the bottom line is, if you are very interested in attending a certain college, um, it's probably worth your while to do some of those things to let that admissions office know of your interest. Another thing I like to talk about is social media. Social media is actually a great way to get to know the colleges that you might be interested in. All colleges have social media accounts. You can follow them, you can see what they post, you can find out what's happening on their campuses. It's really a terrific way to learn about a college. The one caution is that with students' social media accounts, your own social media accounts, you just want to make sure that your social media profiles that are out there are ones that you wouldn't mind a college admissions officer seeing, you wouldn't mind a prospective job, um, an employer seeing, or really anyone. So you just want to make sure that your social media profile is exactly how you want it to be out there. Cost is a bigger factor these days. Uh, and in fact, that in some ways is a good thing. We believe that you should pay attention to the cost and how much it's going to cost you as a family, and make your decision with that in mind. And so, yeah, it's not great that college is very expensive, but it's good that families are really looking at cost as one of the factors among many in the admissions process. Um, One thing that's terrific, I mentioned watching a webinar online, doing a virtual campus tour. During COVID, when families and students couldn't visit colleges and be on campus, colleges developed all kinds of resources so that students could interact virtually with them at that time. Now that's past, and students are very welcome on campuses, but colleges never did away with those terrific resources. So there are so many ways that you can interact with a college online, virtually, and that's a great thing. These days, there are also more colleges um, saying that they are test optional, meaning they don't require a standardized test. So that's something to pay attention to, because that does increase the number of applicants to a school if they don't have to send a standardized a score. And that does also result in longer wait lists And so something to just be aware of. And finally, I just want to mention something called direct admissions. That's relatively new, but what that means is that some colleges may send you an admissions acceptance letter even before you've applied. And that's because maybe they received your information um, on a test that you took from taking the SAT or the ACT, or they received your information from the Common App, which we'll talk about, which is one of the application portals. And they quickly saw some statistics about you and thought, "Ooh, this student will be a great fit for our school." So they send you an admissions acceptance, and it usually will say, "We'd love to have you. Just fill out this shortened admissions application or form, answer a few questions, and you can be admitted." So it's a little funny because that's not how things have gone in the past, but it does work well for some students who may not have considered that school as one that they were interested in attending. It will then help them take a second look at that, complete the form, and maybe be admitted there. So there are some real benefits to students for that, but that might be confusing if it happens to you. So I like to share. Another important note about the admissions process is stay organized. There are a lot of little pieces that you need to keep track of. We have something called the College Application Manager on our website. Feel free to download that and keep track of the colleges you're interested in. What is their admissions deadline? Do they require a standardized test? What about financial aid? What forms are required for that? What's the deadline for that? So you can do that, or you can just create your own spreadsheet, put a big whiteboard in your kitchen, something on your phone, whatever you do. It's good to stay organized with the process.